Hey, it's Vanessa, and welcome back to Born to Build the New. In today's episode, we're talking about right timing and releasing urgency. So it's all about our relationship with time. I'll get into the details in just a moment, but first, as always, love to introduce myself. I'm Vanessa Smith, your host of Born to Build the New, energy guide, and identity seer. And here we talk about the paradigm shift and your role within the larger collective unfolding that's happening right now. You are quite literally born to build the new with your purpose work. There's gifts that only you have that you are meant to bring forward and create something that is different than what we've been previously experiencing. And so in this podcast, I really love to talk about the topics that affect those of us that fall under this category of new paradigm builder, because they are louder for us. They're more relevant and more resonant for how we need to navigate both our individual and our collective reality. So with that being said, let's just jump into the details of right timing and releasing urgency. So again, this is all about our relationship with time. And if you're born to build the new, you may experience, it's interesting because we experience a bit more of the polarity around time, where we feel a sense of timelessness to being on the planet. It's like we're more connected to a sense of presence or eternal wisdom, not in a way that we're better than anybody else. It's just a different way of relating to our reality. Like we're not as locked into the structure or the belief that you need to live in a certain way, or you need to work a 9-to-5 job and then you retire. Like all of this old structuring and assumptions around how we live our life, how we use our time is much more wide open. And we have a sense of eternalness. It's like a deep spiritual rooting that is inherent to who we are. And sometimes we need to get very quiet to be able to sense this within ourselves again, but it's there. And for many of us, there's actually more and more people that are recognizing themselves as new paradigm builders, or here to build a new way of how we exist, how we operate in the world, and what that looks like on an individual and a collective level. And so we're redefining what time means to us and how we engage with that, how our energy is when it comes to our relationship with time. And as we do that, we're bringing this timeless component into our overall daily experience, really, and also both in terms of our long-term vision and also short-term goals. We just have a different scale of time altogether. And then we swing on to the other polarity, right? The other side of it, where we feel a sense of urgency. we need to get it moving, get it going, whatever it is that we are here to build, let's get to it. And this pressure can show up in different ways, or this urgency, right? It's a sense of urgency. It can show up in different ways. Sometimes it shows up as pressure, like the pressure to start something, to finish something, to refine what we're building, right? There's just this ongoing sense of let's get to it. But sometimes that urgency can also show up as anxiety or even doubt. But behind those surface level emotions, there really is this sense of, I'm on assignment. There is a mission here. I need to actualize this purpose. I need to get it done, right? So we feel, I'd say, especially uncomfortable when we're not using our gifts in the way that we know we're meant to. That's tends to be an emotional activator for those of us that are born to build the new. We're like, oh God, like, let's go. And again, it's that balance between the pressure and the emotions that can rise up because of the pressure, because of the sense of urgency. One other way that is worth mentioning of how urgency shows up is around perfectionism, wanting to get it right, not wanting to get it wrong. I'm very familiar actually with all three of these: the pressure, the emotional anxiety or doubt, and then also the perfectionism. And really that just speaks to the fact that what we're building, what we feel called to do, is meaningful for us. It feels important. It is a driver behind who we are. It isn't something that we can simply, one day we'll get to. I can't even tell you. I mean, honestly, so many times that I have unconsciously made my body sick for not following my intuition, my purpose work, for not using my gifts. It's like every cell of my being is pointing in this particular direction. And for a variety of reasons, we're never technically off the path. It's like the path is always the path. The path is whatever we choose in the moment. But when there is this sense of I'm not in alignment with what I'm here to do, it just is, at least for me, I've noticed this for other people as well, but for myself, my body tends to go absolutely haywire if I do not stick with this aligned direction of doing my purpose work in the world. And for years, I really had to untangle the energy, really check the energy and unpack, like, what is happening here? Why is my body responding in the way that it is? Why are these different emotions coming up? What is this pressure about? Where does this perfectionism come from, right? Because it's all these sort of surface level ways that we are entangled with time and this sense of urgency. So we have this polarity swing between timelessness, this eternal sense of self, this deeply rooted and embodied wisdom, and at the same time, we feel a sense of timeliness to our path and what it is that we are meant to do in this world. And it can feel like a lot, right? It's a very big energy to work with and also to swing between those two polarities. So what can we do to release urgency? The way to answer that question is to unpack what urgency actually is. Because oftentimes when we think of urgency, we have an automatic association of how it feels in our body, our mind, our emotions. It's not an enjoyable experience. And oftentimes, being human, we learn through contrast, right? We're just like, okay, I know I really don't like this experience, and therefore I would like to choose the opposite. So whenever we're not clear about something, we just bring contrast into our world. And then we're like, okay, yes, really clear. Absolutely did not like that experience. Now let me be more clear around what it is that I want to intentionally create in my world. So as we start to go deeper and really descend into what urgency is about and what it points to for us, it gives us clues and indicators around what specifically needs to shift for us so we no longer carry this imprint of urgency within our system as we create. Because, as you know, a build is not an instant manifestation. It is not you have a seed of a vision or you have a goal, and then tomorrow there it is. Like it doesn't work like that. Those of us that really are not just visionaries or have visions, but we're builders, we know that that takes place over time. And if you, just for the astrology geeks out there, if you happen to have Capricorn in any of your, like in your 10th house is all about career. And Capricorn is the builder, right? It builds over time. And oftentimes Capricorn is associated with a late start to the career. I know I find this often with those that I work with. They feel like I've been called for so long, but it hasn't clicked into place yet. Well, don't worry. I'm going to sound like ChatGPT when I say this, but you're not behind. You're right on time. I swear if I see one more post say those exact lines, it's just sad, right? I mean, as a total aside, and as a writer, I find myself a little frustrated sometimes with how many people in the transformational healing field are using ChatGPT as their own voice. And there's just these certain phrases that they give me the ick. Like they used to be authentic and true. And now it's like, wow, everybody is saying, you're right on time. You're not behind. So if you ever get in touch with me, please do not write to me with a ChatGPT message. Just use your regular voice because you're human and I like humans. Okay, there's my AI rant for the moment. Let's get back to urgency and releasing urgency. So what urgency is really about, and what it tells you if you've been running your system from a more urgency type of energy, is that you're not living by your natural rhythm. When you are very grounded and rooted in your natural rhythm, then you don't have a sense of urgency. You have a sense of right timing. You have a sense of trust. You have a sense of your place within the larger picture, and you have a sense of the unfolding. Like there's something really incredible about living by your natural rhythm, because you no longer care about anybody else's timeline. You don't even care about your own timeline anymore, because you're so in tune with your own body, with your own energy, your own intuition, the way things work for you, that the trust of that really dominates everything you do. It's just urgency. There's no room for it within your body, within your energetic field, within your psyche. It just can't root down into your system because your energy is being run by what is core and unique to you, your natural rhythm. Now, as I say that, you're probably wondering, how do I know what my natural rhythm is, Vanessa? That's such a great question. I have some ideas around that simply through my own lived experience of paying attention to my rhythm. But here's a couple of tips to start to know what your rhythm is about. You want to notice when you naturally have more energy. Does it happen for you in the morning, the afternoon, in the evening? I mean, you can certainly look at your design charts like astrology, human design, and gene keys, and it can inform you about the mechanics of how you're designed. But I find it's the actual everyday experience of, when do I feel best? When do I feel like I have the most energy in my system? When is it time for me to slow down and rest? What is consistent for me? Like throughout the day, like for myself, I have to do these certain exercises in the morning. If I do them out of sequence, than of how I do them, then I feel sideways during the day. So my natural rhythm is to have that be a consistent part of my day. So part of it is really using yourself as the study of what your natural rhythm is. Another piece to start to discover what that is, and as I'm speaking about this, I'm realizing I think I need to just call this podcast Releasing Urgency and Reclaiming Your Natural Rhythm. And then we'll do a whole other one on right timing. I'll give a little nod to that in this one, but that's such a rich topic in and of itself that I want to explore more about that in a future episode and just really speak to you about natural rhythm right now, which makes sense. I happen to be recording this on the first day of the switch to Taurus season. And as a Taurus rising, it's all about embodiment, presence, the body itself, pleasure, getting grounded, getting rooted. So I understand why this energy is very strong for me in this moment. So another way to know what your natural rhythm is also looking at environment. And environment includes the people as well. So who you surround yourself with, how that impacts your energy. What are the different rooms that you're in, quite literally within your house, what you have within your house? Where do you go to refresh your energy? Like for me, I'm recording this actually outside, barefoot, my feet in the dirt right now. And that's what helps me anchor into my own natural rhythm and speak from a clear space. It's my preference to record these podcasts outdoors, bare feet in the dirt. So paying attention to environment, those are different ways to start to get to know what your natural rhythm is. And then, of course, like I said, the people, who's in your life, who supports you when you have a low moment, who are you just around all the time, who drains you. So paying attention to your energy and your rhythm around certain people, super important. So urgency, when you're carrying the energy of urgency, what that's telling you is that you're living outside of your natural rhythm. What it also can tell you is that you're running the energy that isn't your own. Oftentimes, I've noticed for myself and many people that I work with, because we're sensitive, the empath is actually it really is the evolutionary arc for humanity. Like we're all becoming more sensitive to other people's energy. But I've been sensitive all my life, and many of the people in my world have as well, whether personally or professionally. And urgency can often come from when you are picking up the energy of somebody else. When you are, and that's for better or for worse, because sometimes we're not around people that drain us. That's an issue in and of itself, but we're around people that really elevate us. We almost feel high in their presence because they just have big, vibey kind of energy. But if we pick up their energy instead of running our own, what we do is as soon as we're out of their presence, we crash. And so we have to be mindful of, knowing what our natural rhythm is, seeing how we respond differently when we're around different people, and then choosing and discovering different ways that we can find more alignment with our natural rhythm so we can stay in our own energy no matter who we're around. That we can stay in our own energy no matter what environments we walk into. And that is one of the top ways that we can release this feeling of urgency, because sometimes that urgency isn't just about the timeliness of what we're here to build. It's also about the urgency feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm carrying somebody else's energy and I need it to get out of my space. So there's this kind of pressure of like, ugh, get off of me. Like, if you're sensitive, you know what I'm talking about. And one last piece that I want to talk about with the urgency and what it's connected to is also fear. So we live in this larger collective context that is like bombarding, the energetic airwaves as best as it can with these fear narratives of all the absolutely scary things that are going on in reality. And if you are paying attention to that kind of information, it's going to create a sense of urgency, because just as human beings, we're like, we don't want to go through anything that's horrible like what we're witnessing, and we don't want that for other people. Like, we really don't. I mean, and so when you feel if you feel like you're not sure what you can do about that, how do I stop this? This is a terrible, horrible thing that's happening. That's going to create a sense of discord in your system, sense of urgency in your system, because you want to make moves, but you don't know what moves to make. And so urgency really pulls your energy outside of the build of what you're here to do. If you are all amped up for whatever reason, I'm giving you a bunch of different examples of why urgency energy can take over, our reality, how we move through the world. But if you're so amped up, then you can't focus on what you're here to build. You're not able to invest your energy or your presence or your gifts to the same degree that you could if you curated your personal reality in such a way that more of you, more of your light was available to invest into the moment itself, into the build itself. And so taking care of yourself, living by your natural rhythm, tuning into your intuition, clearing out your energy, building yourself is actually an act of revolution. And for those of us that are born to build the new, we don't necessarily feel a call to be on a picket line or, sometimes we're behind the scenes doing our build, depending on you and your, however you're designed. Like, maybe you like to be on the picket lines too, but not everybody in my world likes that. They're more invested of, I want to build this thing to be this catchment, basically, this place, this thing for people to go into after the systems implode and explode, right? We see the breakdown that's happening. Well, where do all the people go? Where do when the education system implodes, where are they going? We need other people building something that is life supportive, that can kind of catch those people that are falling out of the systems, whether it's the education system, the economic system, the healthcare system, whatever it is. And so that's why being born to build the new, it's not that it's like, we're special and any more important than any other human being. It's not like that. It's a very specific path to walk. And you'll you'll feel that calling on your heart of, there's something here. There's something more for me to do. And we're on a continuum. Some of us just have this vague feeling of moreness, that we're here to create something different or alternative. Some people are super, super clear on what that vision is, and it's very specific to their gifts and their training and overall purpose in the world. And then some people are systemic, meaning they can envision a whole system being built and can see all the architecture of it, all the different roles that go within it. I know I tend to be a little more wired toward that end where I'm like, here's what the entire education system could look like. Here's what the entire healthcare system could look like. So I tend to be more organically a systems builder. But maybe for you, you just have an idea of a very specific kind of retreat you want to offer, or a different way of eating, or a different way of connecting with the land. I mean, again, nothing's better than the other. They're just all different paths to walk towards building the new. And so what we want to make sure that we're doing is releasing the urgency so we have more of ourselves, more of our soul, more of our spirit, more of our human, more of our gifts, more of our light to invest into whatever it is that we are building. And because urgency can just be such an all-encompassing kind of feeling, and it's so top layer too. It's like, I just feel this feeling and I want the feeling gone, and I can't create the thing because I have this feeling. I wanted to go deeper and start to illuminate what is urgency? Like, where does it come from? Why does it happen? And how can we work with it? And so that was really my intention today when I, thought about this topic for this podcast and how it affects the new paradigm builders in particular. There is such a rich topic that is also connected with this, which is about right timing and really trusting the timing. But I'm going to save that for another episode. So make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast and tuned in for when that comes out. If you'd like to get onto my newsletter, please just go straight to my site, vasmith.com, or also the description box of this podcast episode. And you can sign up for the newsletter and see all the other goodies and resources that I love to share with you, and especially if you are born to build the new and you feel that calling in your heart. And what else do I want to tell you? Simply just thanks so much for tuning in. I really, really love to do these podcasts, and I love to be able to, just share about these topics that I feel advised by my own advice. And it's such a nice experience for me to feel the gift of my voice activated in this way. I just can't encourage you enough to use your gifts. Your gifts will give you vitality. They're not just for the build of what you're here to do. They're for your own health and well-being. They're for your own soul satisfaction. And I'm really grateful that you're tuning in. So thank you for that. I wish you well, and I'll talk with you again in the next podcast. Take care.